What are your thoughts on Oswald Spengler and his book Decline of the West? Is this the main ideology of the alt-right?
Well, Oswald Spengler theorized that civilizations, like men, go through irreversible cycles. They're born, they prosper, they decline, they die. And he felt that the West was on the downslope. But the West is in the Western civilization that stems from basically Constantine to the present.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that I don't believe that it's irreversible, because I don't believe it's organic. I believe it's unlikely to be reversed, because what would be required is a reclaiming of the very faith that created Western civilization in the first place.
So,
It's much easier for us to go downhill and die than to reclaim the faith that made us, yeah.
so you disagree with Belloc, if I'm not mistaken. I thought he had made the prediction that Islam, the threat of Islam, would cause the West to get strong again.
I would say that it's a possibility.
But you wouldn't bet on it.
I wouldn't bet on it. I mean, I can see it happening because, as Belloc proposed, let's put it this way, certainly in the immediate, in the short run, I could definitely see Europe at least pulling itself together and getting very nasty over the Muslim thing.
Yeah, you say that they flip on a...
Yeah, they flip on a dime. The problem is whether or not that's going to be maintained. In other words, Joe Sixpack or Giuseppe Sixpack or Joseph Sixpack or whoever you like, Joseph Sixpack. All these wonderful people in Europe. Okay, they don't like the Muslims raping and pillaging and murdering, and so they will get them first, and they do, and they put in thug-like leaders that do the job.
Yeah.
So now the Muslims in Europe are either converted or back home or dead.
Okay.
Exactly. Now what?
Yeah.
And this is where the big question comes in. If Europe regains the faith at that time, then we'll have something. But if she doesn't, all you'll have is a ton of corpses for nothing.
Yeah.
And that, so I mean, I certainly hope that Europe will pull itself together, the West will pull itself together. But A, if she doesn't get the faith back, that pulling together will be far more brutal than otherwise. That's why all these people running around happy about the secularizing of everything are morons.
Yeah.
Because what they're ensuring is that people with their opinions will not be dealt with well in 10 or 15 or 20 years. Secondly, not only will it be more unpleasant and inhuman, it won't last.
Yeah.
Because it won't be able to. No birthright.
Yeah.
And thirdly and lastly, if the faith does not revive, the West will not deserve to survive. And that's where I would differ from Spengler.
I see.
And where I would agree with Belloc. Belloc took a cheerier view of these things than I do, but remember he lived at an earlier part of the process. So who knows what he would have thought if he were here now. I mean, in his day, you didn't have things like the state of California voting 3 genders.
Yeah.
You know, how stupid am I? I don't know. Let's see how stupid I am. At least I'm in charge. So you've got a moronic Western leadership that are just totally out to lunch. You've got the Muslim peril, in the face of which they're saying, oh, the Muslims want to slaughter us? I know, we're 3 genders. That'll show them. And then you have the great mass of people in the West. So much depends on who takes over. I'm very happy with the leadership I see rising in Central Europe, in Austria and Hungary, and Poland, the Czech Republic. We'll see what happens in Western Europe. But it's ironic that, with the exception of Austria, to my way of thinking anyway, the best leadership are the countries that were oppressed by the communists. And I think it's probably because they were forced to examine the principles that we are now pushing, up front and personal. See, they've been what we are. They've done that. And there wasn't the smiley face smacking you around. It was the thing itself with the mask off. So they've been where we are. They've done this. You know, when you have these little kids coming out of college going, oh, socialism is wonderful. Pick yourself up if you really feel that way. Spend college break not drinking and wenching on the beach somewhere. No. Don't spend spring break at a resort. Go to Eastern Europe. Take your little self over there. And just talk to people. Just talk. Open the little mouth, but more importantly, open the little ears and ask them about socialism. Because see, unlike yourself, and unlike the old men like me who babble at you in your classrooms, you know, the guys with the gray hair, they don't generally dress as formal as I do, but you know the morons I mean. Those guys, and you, don't really know what socialism is. They have no idea. Go to Eastern Europe, they know. They'll help you with your issues. I think Bernie Sanders should be required to teach at a Russian university.
I agree there.
No, I mean, not for all. I'm not saying exile Bernie Sanders.
Exile Bernie, no?
No. But I'm saying he should be required to teach for 2 or 3 semesters at a Russian university. To interact with his fellow faculty members, chat with the students, you know, get a little feeling for what he's pushing.
Yeah.
Just as I feel that every dope pusher should probably be forced to play nurse in a rehab facility for a while.
Yeah.
You know, see the results of their handiwork.
Yeah.
Not that we're bitter. But anyway, that's the thing. As far as the alt-right goes, I'm not entirely sure that they have an ideology, other than they don't like what they see.
Okay, so
A lot of them have discovered Spengler.
Yeah.
But the very fact, see, Spengler, in a real sense, is the counsel of despair. Because he says nothing can be done.
Yeah.
This is just a cycle, and you ride with the cycle to the end.
Okay.
It can't be fixed, and then something new will come out of it. I think that, you know, that to the degree that you think anything can be saved, to that degree you're not a Spenglerian. Even if you accept his general analysis.
Okay. So, any more specifics on Spengler?
Yeah, he dressed very nicely.
Okay.
And he made a wonderful comment, which is always floating around in my head. I may not agree with the general thrust of his philosophy, but I do find very enticing his phrase that if one has an opportunity to annoy, one should take advantage of it.
I like that.
He actually said that.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Oh, he had another phrase. It isn't so much, how did it go? It isn't so much that one should work to avoid being numbered amongst the minority. One should work to avoid being numbered amongst the insane. I may have misquoted it, but I think that's what it was.
You know, one personal question I have about the alt-right that I don't understand is what is their utopia? What is their ideal? Like, what does their ideal society look like?
Honestly, I don't know, and I suspect there may be as many utopias as there are alt-righters, but I'm not in a position to say.
Shout out to Laramie Hirsch. I was talking to him about this because he's a political blogger and stuff like that, and he said something that really struck me well. He said the alt-right, I'm sure there are exceptions in the movement, but the alt-right, they want Christendom without Christ.
Yeah.
I thought that was very poignant.
Well, yeah, I mean, which is why Spengler and Evola and people like that are very popular among them. And I can understand that, because you say Christian without Christ, what does that mean? It means knights in armor. It means all the wonderful, beautiful things that Christendom has brought. It's a very human tendency to love the creatures and disdain or not actively hate the Creator.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's again something that we can thank the fall of man for.
Yeah.
But again, Christendom without Christ, which to me would be another nightmare. Christendom without Christ, if you want an example of it, it would be Japan under the Tokugawa.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, think of Bushido and versus chivalry.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Some of the Rajput dynasties in India, very chivalric. Well, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is Christendom without Christ.
That's true. That's true.
And there's no mercy.
Yeah.
There's no. It becomes all about power.
I hate that. If there's several horrible things of Game of Thrones, but that's the worst. Is that impression that it gives that all the medieval rulers, all that type of rulers, all they're interested is in keeping power. That there's no actual stewardship. I hate that.
Well, it also is untrue. But fortunately, because it's a mythical place, it can be anything that whatever his name it wants it to be. Can't think of his name. Williamson. I mean, if he wants, they can all be talking bunnies.
Yeah.
Like, golly, what was it called? Adams. He just died. It was all about rabbits. And I can't even think of the name. Watership Down.
Okay.
There. Well, if you do a movie and all the characters are rabbits, there'll be a lot of rabbits in it.
Yeah.
So you get the right, if you're going to make up a world, to make its denizens whatever you want them to be. But, and some people look at that as very, very exciting. I mean, the followers of Nietzsche, for instance, love that idea of everything being power-based. But the problem with everything being power-based is that there's always a bigger fish than you. And even if you're the biggest fish in the pond, then one day you're going to die. And all your power is going to go bye-bye. Joseph Stalin was the most powerful man on the earth when my brother was born in 1953. And 2 years later, Joseph Stalin in a hole in the ground. Bye-bye. Well, no, he wasn't. He was on exhibition for a while. But then Khrushchev was alive, unlike Stalin, who had been more powerful but was dead. Khrushchev out Stalin for all his crimes, and yet he goes to the hole in the ground. So you see, that's the problem with that entire thing of reasoning.
Yeah.
Before the show, we were discussing Negan and Game of Thrones.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, sorry. All the same to me now. Yeah. They all merge.
Yeah.
Annihilation, Black Panther, it's all the same. Yeah. Anyway, no, we're discussing Negan as the epitome of strength versus weakness being the moral code rather than good versus evil.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole thing with that is that one day Negan is going to end up eating flesh if he isn't buried.
Yeah.
So, that's the whole problem with Christendom without Christ. It's a horrible world that I, for one, wouldn't want to live in.
Yeah. I apologize to all you alt-writers who are faithful Catholics. I know we're going to get like 50 comments saying, oh, you've mischaracterized the alt-right movement.
No, listen, I'm glad you said that. The truth of the matter is you can't really characterize the alt-right.
Yeah.
Anybody who tells you they know all about the alt-right and has figured it all out, they're lying. And that'd be true for you or me or people who are very active in it. Like what's his name, Musberg?
I don't know.
I don't know him by name. I'm sure he's a very nice fellow, but he's certainly one of the central alt-right thinkers. But I'm sure he'd be the first to say that he wouldn't be able to come up with something that would encompass everybody.
Yeah, I was sort of talking about all these alt-righters. They're espousing nationalism and that kind of stuff.
And see, and this is where we get into a thing, which was a problem, frankly, in conservative circles in the 19th and 20th centuries, was being of nationalism. You had people like Maurras in France, a great admirer, by the way. Unamuno in Spain, also an admirer. So when I say these things, don't think I'm saying they were terrible, evil people whom I hate. Not at all. But both of them made a grave mistake, I think, in that they valued Catholicism as the ultimate expression of the spirit of France or the spirit of Spain. In the case of the Slavophiles, Orthodoxy is the spirit of Russia.
But it stopped there. It was just a culture.
Well, and in truth, the opposite is true. France and Spain and Russia have value to the degree that they reflect the faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Yeah.
You know, you are the salt of the earth, but if the salt of the earth loses its savor, what is it good for?
Yeah.
Except to be spilled out and trampled upon by men. We, the West, are the salt of the earth, but we have lost our savor. If we don't get it back, then that's all we'll be good for, and we will be. Have no fear about that. All right, what else we got?